Hello, and welcome back to Explain the Charts. Today, June 12th, 2025, we're diving deep into USDCHF, looking at both the latest news and technical chart data to make sense of its recent movements. We'll start with some market context before diving into the candlesticks. The news indicates the Swiss franc has strengthened considerably, with the US dollar to Swiss franc rate falling. A key catalyst seems to be the weaker US dollar, influenced by cooler-than-expected US PPI inflation figures and rising expectations of Federal Reserve rate cuts, as noted by FXStreet. Now, let's switch to the daily chart and analyze the recent price action. As you can see, we've experienced a significant downtrend recently. The exchange rate fell to 0.8111 today, with a 3.38% appreciation of the Swiss franc over the past month. We can see a fairly consistent downtrend in the last few months. Looking closer at the daily chart's more recent candlesticks, we can identify a key support level around 0.8180. If the price breaks below this level, it could signal further downside potential. Conversely, if it bounces off the support, we might see a short-term correction upwards. However, with the current bearish sentiment, a bounce seems less likely in the short term. Now, let's zoom into the 1-hour chart to examine intraday movements and potential short-term trading opportunities. On the hourly chart, we can see more clearly the struggle around the 0.82 level. There seems to be constant failed attempts to go higher and more successful attempts to break lower, indicating a bearish tendency. Looking at the 15-minute chart, we can observe the price consolidating around the 0.821 level in the last day. But overall, it seems unable to mount any real challenge upward. Keep an eye on the short-term resistance around 0.822 and support at 0.820. A break below 0.820 could signal a retest of lower support levels. Given the strengthened Swiss franc due to cooler inflation data and the persistent selling bias in the US dollar mentioned by FXStreet, the short-term outlook for USDCHF appears bearish. However, we need to also consider that the market often overreacts. A near-term level to look for is around 0.81 and then reassess. In summary, the key price levels to watch are the support around 0.8180 and further down the line around 0.81 if the bearish trend continues. On the upside, immediate resistance is at 0.822 and then near 0.826. Be aware of any sudden shifts in U.S. economic data or changes in Federal Reserve policy, as these could invalidate the bearish outlook. Thanks for tuning in to Explain the Charts. Happy trading!